I don't know what I did there, but yo, guys, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. Back again with another video on Eagle Talks Football. Today, we're going to be doing the panel show. I'm going to have me, Kunle, Gunnar Souls, and I'm going to have Curran coming on. And of course, a special guest today, first time on the channel making his debut. So when he joins, we'll add him in to have his conversation also. But before we go any further, there's going to be a couple topics of discussion. And I want you guys in the comment section, the people watching live, watching on the playback, get involved. We're going to be talking about Kai Havertz. Are you concerned? And do you have any concerns about Kai Havertz? This is a safe space to voice your concerns at this moment in time. Also, is it time that we start having a conversation about Fabio Viera starting for Arsenal? Is it time that we have a conversation around David Raya and if he's going to get an opportunity now, or is he going to have to wait for the League Cup? Then there's an injury to Gabriel apparently. I'm going to give you guys the lowdown on what's going on with that. And finally, is it time that we give Eddie Nketiah some respect and say, you know what, he's a serviceable backup and people need to stop calling him whatever you guys call him and call him Steady Eddie, because that's what he's been doing. He's been reliable. I'm not saying he's the best striker in the world, but hey, for what we thought he was, he's showing that he's better. So I want to know what you guys think about that also. But first things first, let me bring in the panel. We already got two of them here. We got Gunnar Souls in the building, and we got Nigerian Englishman in the building too. But before we go further, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you haven't already done so, comment down below saying what up to the panel. What are you saying, Souls? I'll start with you.
Hey, I'm good, man. Life is good. Football's back on the weekend. I am so happy it's back. I'll be honest with you. I've got no life. I've realized that. I was bored as fuck. You know that I tried watching the England game, I fell asleep. I tried watching the Germany game, fell asleep. Bro, I can't watch international football unless it's the World Cup or the Euros. All these qualifiers, I just can't be asked. I know you got time.
Big up Dylan. We got Dylan in the building. Dylan, you there? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, we can hear you. It's just your picture's kind of fuzzy.
It's kind of fuzzy. All right, cool. Hold on.
No worries. Just change the quality setting.
Sweet. That's oh yeah, I got it now.
I'll just mute you while you're sorting it out. Let's go to my guy Kunle. Kunle, show off the shirt, bro. Tell the people what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, now my people, it's your dark skin man from the motherland. If you didn't know before, now today you go understand. Check out the Oh yeah now merch coming soon. Watch this space. But we're good, man. A little 6-0 for the Super Eagles yesterday against the mighty Sao Tome. You get me? So even though I hate international football, when I'm live on TikTok and YouTube, I guess you find a way to make it work, innit?
Yeah,
can you
guys are cooking. Yeah, we can hear you, Dylan. Welcome, Dylan, to the channel, of course. How you doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. It's been a hectic day. I can't lie. It's been a hectic day, but hey, the international breaks had me bored about Arsenal, so I'm just happy to have Arsenal to talk about again rather than England, to be honest.
There you go. And then we're going to try to get your camera situation sorted out in the future, hopefully. But right now, it's okay. Making his debut on the channel. Every time I have a debutant on the channel, I have to ask them one simple question. How did you become an Arsenal fan?
So I obviously when I was born, my family we live Market Road, which is near Caledonian Road Station, near the Emirates Stadium. We moved to South London when I got a bit older. And then obviously I've started playing football when I've just got a bit older. I'm like, what team should I support? Obviously you hear about Man United, you hear about Rooney. My dad's like, you know where we're from? Like, you're supporting Arsenal. Kit ordered. I got maybe I'll get it out later, but I got an old kit from back in the day that I had back then. Yeah, it's just Arsenal from then really. Started going to games when I was about 10 years old. And yes, been non-stop since. I love it, man. I can't lie, I just love it.
So you're Arsenal from birth. I love to hear it. You know what I mean? That's how it should be. That's how my team's gonna be. My son's already got Arsenal kits ready to go. We got matching kits for the Northumberland Derby.
It's good. I don't understand parents that let their kids have a choice, because mine, they're not gonna have a choice.
No choice.
It's Arsenal or you're disowned. That's the only choice you've got.
her brother is a Man United fan, and he's trying to get him a United kit. I'm like, don't bring that devil stuff.
Impossible.
Hey, lad, if my kids start supporting another club, they're paying rent.
It's not possible, bro. There's no if. Why are you saying words like if, bro? It's not possible. It's not. What?
Guys, calm down. First 4 games of the season. What do you guys think so far? Are you guys kind of like shaky start, or are you guys like, you know what? We drew 1 game, we won every other game, we keep it moving. What are you guys thinking? I'll start with you, Dylan, since we haven't heard your take on this before.
I thought at the start, right. I can't lie. I thought, right, obviously, it's going to be hard to top the start we had last season. And I thought, I watched the performance against Forest. Obviously, every game's about 3 points. But the way we were playing last season compared to the start of this season, I wasn't seeing the same thing. And to be honest, if we're going to take on City, it's got to be better. But after what game was it? It was Fulham, I believe. I don't know if you've heard of Gunner King. You've probably seen Gunner King. He did an interview on AFTV about how he reckons Arteta's been. He talked about how he reckons Arteta's been experimenting. So obviously we saw last season, the league was still on, but when we played Forest and games toward the ends like Wolves, he experimented with Partey and right back, and he was experimenting with mixing up the back line, bringing in Kiwior. He's never really been a fan of Tierney. Listen, I love Tierney. I think he should be playing, but whatever, he's in charge, and if it works, it works. And yeah, I think he's just been experimenting, to be honest. I don't think it's been. I've come to realise I don't think it's actually been a massive disaster of a start, because when it actually mattered and he realised, all right, cool, we've got to beat Man United, he went back to basics and we got the job done. So right now, I'm cool, but there's things I want to see changed. There's definitely things I want to see change. So I'm happy with the start to the season, to be honest. You can't win every single game. Fulham are a decent side. And yeah, as annoying as it was, and we really should have won that game, you can't win every single game. I do understand that. So I'm not too fussed about the start to the season, if I'm being honest.
There you go. Me too, man. For me, this is my whole take on the start of the season. I think a lot of people are blowing it way out of proportion. There's going to be hiccups throughout the season. We're not going to win every single game. Even Man City, they don't win every game in the season. They drop points in at least 10 games every year, and people are making it seem like, oh, you drop 1 point in your first 3 games, you can't win a league title. When was the last time City actually went 4 for 4? Like it doesn't happen often. But hey, it is what it is. If I'm not mistaken, City drew their 3rd game of the season last year versus Newcastle. When they were 3-0 down, they came back to draw 3-3. We were down in that game too, but it was only by 1 goal, and it was our own fault. But hey, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. We keep it moving. People are making it seem like we're like in 12th, like Chelsea or something. Like, well, what are these guys doing?
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
Go ahead, man. What are you saying?
I think it's mad. But what it just proves to me, guys, that the standard is up now, isn't it? Because we're feared again. Like, it's been a while since I felt that teams come to our ground and give us respect. Rivals fans were on the tip of their tongue every single day. It's crazy now, like, and it's not banter. They're just trying to find little tweaks in our game, because as Dylan was saying, we had such a great start last season. So again, this is the expectancy now. Like my thing is this: I expect us to challenge for this title this year, but you don't win a title one way. You don't win a title by winning every single game. No one's ever done that. So just like you're saying, we've dropped points in 1 game. Can I be individually upset with that, the way we drew the Fulham game? Of course I can, because it was stupid. It's 11 against 10 men at home and you're a goal up. We should never drop points in that game. Of course I'm upset about that. But does that mean I'm going to be like, oh shit, we messed up, we didn't replace Timber and all these different things? I'm not going to be setting the alarm bells off just yet, man, because what I'm more encouraged about, which most people are not seeing, is we've won 3 out of 4 games and we're not even playing well. Doesn't that scare you lot? You lot should be scared. Like imagine when we actually start balling. It's long. It's long for them. And for me, I don't believe that we're going to keep playing at this low level. Even though it was good enough to brush them small boys from Manchester, I still believe we're going to keep raising our game, and eventually people are going to see that free-flowing football they saw. But if we're able to accumulate points on points before then, who am I to complain, man?
Yeah. Yo, Dylan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take you off. Jump on your phone.
Yeah, it's going to remove me now. I'm going to swap out. Yeah, it's going to remove me now. I'm just going to...
We got it. Cause yeah, the picture was freezing a lot. Souls, what you saying, man? Cause you've been quiet. The last week we haven't heard from you since you hailed Thing is a 500 million pound player, Declan Rice.
You know what? Controversial, but this is the start I wanted to have. I wanted us to be crap, and I'll tell you why. Because what happened last season? No, when I say that, I don't mean lose. I'm not saying lose games yet. I'm saying win them, but play crap. And I'll tell you why, because last season what happened was we were trying to pick out what we could do better. We had one of the perfect starts in terms of scoring goals. We had one of the quickest to 50. We had 51 points in the quickest times accumulated in the Premier League. We did everything right. And the problem is to maintain that for 38 games is impossible. And the worst time, right, to drop off is at the business end of the season. The best time to drop off is at the beginning of the season, where most teams are probably acclimatizing and calibrating their teams. Look at Man City. When did they go through their trial phase? At the beginning of the season. People like Haaland isn't working. People like this system isn't working. And then Pep Guardiola done a madness and went to this 3 whatever. And even then, it took him a little bit of time. People are like, oh, you know what? They might actually go from becoming potential treble winners to winning nothing. And then they actually did go win the treble. So as much as people are criticizing Arteta, criticizing Arsenal for experimenting or changing the system, for me, I feel like that's hypocrisy in my opinion. And I feel like Arsenal fans in general, there's a lot of hypocrisy within the fan base. And the reason why I say this, when we ended that season, what were people saying? Oh, Arteta doesn't change it. He's stubborn. He's this. He does not want to change from his philosophy.
We don't have a plan B. We don't have a plan C. All of that.
Well, what happens if like Saliba gets injured again? What happens if Gabriel Magalhaes picks up an injury? What happens if Zinchenko gets injured? What happens if Ben White gets injured? And he does make those tweaks. You know, he brings Partey into right back. He brings, Kiwior in. He brings Tomiyasu in. He bought, obviously Zinchenko was injured, but he bought him in when he needed to. And what do people do? They start complaining, why is he experimenting? This manager should not be experimenting, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no matter what Arteta does, and I've always said this, Arteta can win the quadruple, and there will still be people saying he should be sacked. And that's the funny thing, is because agendas rule more than success, in my opinion. People want to be right and not be proven wrong. And that, to me, is one of the biggest things about the Arsenal fan base that I don't like. Now, when we look at the start of the season, we've got to understand Gabriel Jesus wasn't here, and Zinchenko was in here. They're the two catalysts for everything we do. They're the reason the football flows. They're the reason why we played the way we have done and accumulated the points that we did. And for me, once they came back, look at the United game when Gabriel Jesus came on, the game changed. Forget the goal. Forget how he scored that goal. That goal was phenomenal. But forget that for a moment. The way he had them on strings, granted it's...
Anyone seen Dalot? Did he make it to international break?
Yeah, he went international break early. Like, my man got
he just slid all the way, slid all the way there.
So for me, like, I don't understand what people want, because think about it. Like Dylan or someone mentioned, this is the worst we could be. This is the worst start we've had. This is the worst football we're playing. And guess what? We've drawn 1-1-3. Like, think about it for a moment. Like, what's going to happen when this team finally clicks into gear and everything starts moving?
So the funniest one.
That's a lot better. We can actually see you.
Can you see me,
we can see you clearly now. Yeah. Sharp. The best part for me is the one that they say, it's not sustainable to win a title playing this way. Like, why do you think we're going to play the whole season this way? I don't understand. Like, you've seen what we're capable of when we're at top of our game. So why do you keep... Well, of course, we know it's not sustainable to win every game in the season at this performance, but why can't we raise our game? We will. And especially with someone like Jesus back in our game, you'll see how Saka and Martinelli start to get more involved with the game, as great as Eddie's done so far.
Let's begin by talking about Jesus, and before we get to the Kai Havertz and everything else. When it comes to Jesus and Eddie Nketiah, is it time that we start putting respect on Eddie Nketiah? Because I'm not saying that they're that close. I'm just saying Eddie Nketiah has shown that he's the reliable starter when he plays, to the sense that he puts in the effort. He does what the bare minimum that needs to be done. In addition to that, he can sometimes come up with some spectacular moments, like against Manchester United, like what he's done at numerous times. And his goal record as a starter is really good. And I think people need to start putting respect on his name. He's not just a backup that's any old backup. I think he's one of the better backups in the league. He's a reliable backup that can play. I'm not saying start him against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu, but if there's a game that we need Eddie Nketiah to start over Jesus, or we need to rest somebody and give him a game, I'm trusting Eddie Nketiah to start. And I want to know, is everyone finally starting to trust Eddie Nketiah? Because I think it's time we finally trust Eddie Nketiah.
Well, what I'd say is, you said, is it time we start respecting Nketiah? What I'd like to say is, I think it's time the world of football started respecting him as a Premier League level striker. But my issue that I've always had is I think he's not Arsenal quality, if you get what I'm trying to say. I think he deserves respect now as like a Premier League, like he's got value. He's worth something. He's a good player. But I just think personally, Arsenal need to do better. But I think he can still listen. I'm not complaining because right now we haven't got backup, and if he's going to score, he can score. But I don't think he's like we saw against Crystal Palace. You know, he wins the pen because he runs hard, but he's a striker for Arsenal's got to finish those 2 chances he had in the first half, and that's always been his problem. He scores every now and then, but when you're playing in a team with the best number 10 in the world, in my opinion, you're going to get chances. You're going to get chances playing with Martinelli and Saka. You're going to get chances, but for me, it's more about how many does he score. Like, how many he's missing rather than how many he's scoring, because he is getting on the score sheet every now and then. But I think even Jesus as well. Jesus I allow because he offers something more and he brings in Saka and Martinelli goals. Eddie's more just a straight number 9. But then for me, obviously, he isn't scoring enough. That's for me at least. But I don't know. I think
big man ting. Your defense is in trouble. Hey, look, I've been very critical of Eddie. Let me not lie to you. I've been very critical of him. But the boy, he's doing his thing. Just like Dylan said, he's doing his thing. Like, we can't ask of a man more than he's capable of. That's one thing I will say, because it's not Eddie that's told Arteta to give him 100K and play him and rely on him. So I'm not mad at Eddie, and he's doing his thing. He's making good runs, and his game is definitely improving 100%. I do think to help him out in games, Arteta needs to start him with Trossard rather than a Martinelli. Like, I'll be honest, because him and Martinelli you don't really see Martinelli play many good games alongside Eddie. But if Trossard is playing a guy that's good with the tight spaces, I think Eddie would look better up front and probably get even more chances, because Trossard is quite a nippy little player. But I don't think the fan base is ready to see a Martinelli on the bench at any point. So I would say Eddie needs definitely respect. This is what we've got. He's definitely our number 2. And I think if he can get me, I know I'm reaching here, if Eddie can get me 10 Premier League goals this season, bro, I'm over the moon, bro. I'm over the moon.
You scored enough to win last year, not Eddie. Eddie was not the problem. I'm not saying Eddie's the problem. I'm not even sitting here saying he's the solution. I'm just saying put respect on his name, because I feel like he gets disrespected and put in the same category. There's guys like Richarlison starting for Tottenham. Let's be honest. There's guys like
he is better than Richarlison.
But this kind of comparison I hate, right? Because why are we comparing Eddie Nketiah to other shit strikers? We're not meant to be doing that. We're Arsenal.
That's true. That's true.
We should be comparing him with the best of the best. We should be comparing him with like Julian Alvarez. We should be comparing him with Darwin Núñez. We should be comparing him. You know why? Because these are the backups of our competitors. So when we start looking at Richarlison, you're already disrespecting Nketiah in that way, because you're saying, I don't actually trust this guy. You're saying, oh, we should be looking at the caliber of a Richarlison. Why? Richarlison shit. Why would we want to do that? Why are we stooping that low? And so for me, the thing is, I like Eddie. Don't get it twisted. I know people are going to say I've got a big agenda on Eddie Nketiah, but the reality is I like what he can offer us. But the problem is I just don't think he's good enough for us. And when we're trying to reach for a league title, I don't. And I'll tell you why I don't. The word trust is wrong, because for me, he's a better starter than he is coming off the bench. And the problem is he's our second striker. The opportunity he's going to get is coming off the bench.
I hear that. So that's a powerful message there.
But if you're play the League Cup, start in the League Cup, start in, like, let's say the FA Cup, to some degree, I think against some of the oppositions, he probably does score, and he does well. Because even in the League Cup, when we were in the Carabao Cup like 2 seasons ago, he scored like 4 goals in 2 games.
That's Eddie's Cup. I'm not going to lie, man. These League Cup and FA Cups, he kills them little tournaments.
Saka called him.
All right,
Saka
let me
called
just
him
clear
on
up the
his
Bro,
comment for a
he
second.
does this
Carabao goal.
casual,
Yeah,
brother. The
Carabao
League Cup
goal.
and FA Cup.
Let Dan jump in. Dan, what were you gonna say? Do you remember what?
Nah, I remember a couple years back we beat Sunderland. I think Eddie scored a hat trick. I remember Saka put on his Instagram story or something, the Carabao Merchant or the Carabao Goat. He calls him the cat. I think he's well known. He's
He
got
is,
that
man.
title.
Under 21s, Carabao,
Yeah,
FA Cup.
Carabao, yeah,
I
He's
call
on
him
all
the
of that.
Carabao Cup Mbappe. Anyways, that's what I call them. But let's go back to
No,
what
let me
Sol
just
was saying.
clarify the comments quickly, right? So people are saying, why am I comparing? No, what I'm doing is I'm comparing him to the backup strikers of our competitors. I'm not saying we should be comparing him to Richarlison because I don't think that's our level. So when you're looking at Liverpool potentially being in a title challenge, you're looking at United potentially being in a title challenge, you're looking at Man City obviously being in a title challenge. So when you look at their backups is what we should be comparing Nketiah to. Because if they're going to trust the likes of Darwin Núñez, Gakpo, and whoever else, maybe even Diego Jota might be their backup, and then you're looking at Alvarez for Man City, that's what we need to be doing. And if we're looking at it and going, Eddie Nketiah is not as good as those guys, then what are we doing with a striker that's not that good? Now, if it's something like an Ivan Toney, for example, whether you rate him highly or low, but he's a different option, then that's a different conversation. But for me, when Eddie isn't scoring, he doesn't offer us enough yet. His build-up game, like Jesus doesn't score, but he'll probably get 2 or 3 assists. He's done it before. So for me, you can let off the goal scoring if you're getting the assists and actually creating those opportunities. And that's why I don't trust him yet.
Okay, I'm just going to show you guys a list of attacking players in the Premier League made by, I think it was Sky Sports. So they were basically referring to some of the top attackers in the league, and they put a bunch of guys in there. Eddie's not in there. I personally think Eddie should be in this bracket.
There's a Luton player in there, and Eddie's not there.
Yeah, I think Eddie should be in the C category. Well, what are you guys saying? Comparing him
Wait,
to...
Are these all the strikers like starters, or is it just all strikers in general?
I think this is all
They
the
all
strikers.
look like starters. It looks like all
Hey.
starters only.
All the starters.
Eddie's
I
got
think
more
this is
goals
backup
than
strikers. This is backup strikers.
Latoya Jackson. He's got more
No,
goals
this
than
is-
Latoya Jackson this season, bro.
Wait,
I think
I'm
this is-
hella confused.
Bro,
Now this
it
is
doesn't
everyone.
make
This
sense.
is first.
It doesn't make sense because Holland's not
Where's
there.
Haaland not there?
But
Okay,
it
I
says
understand.
excluding Holland.
Ah,
Who do you? This is the list of
That makes
attacking
sense.
players.
no,
So my
Núñez is
thing
better than C, man. I can't lie. Darwin Núñez is better than C, but Eddie's got to be
That's
on there.
wild. That is wild, bro.
Yeah,
Eddie.
Solanke for Bournemouth. Get him
Bro,
out of here.
if they're putting
Yeah.
Archer in D, Eddie's easily in C. But I
Eddie's
don't know
in
what
C. Eddie's in C.
I don't know what Nicholas Jackson.
If Solanke is in C, then Eddie's definitely in C. That guy is rubbish, man.
Yeah, bro. This thing
No,
right here.
I think Jesus should be an A. I'm not even gonna lie. I know people don't rate him, but his overall ability is more than good and better than most of them.
Yeah,
that's
I hear that.
disrespectful
It depends
to
what you want in your striker. I think if it's
Bro,
straight
how is
up,
Latoya
the best
Jackson
player,
in C?
you gotta have Jesus in A. But I think just based off the fact that he doesn't really score many goals, I think it's got to be B. But I can understand why someone would put him in A for sure. I can understand that.
Bro, this whole list is fraudulent.
Hey,
of all,
extremely, bro.
How do you
There's
have
Richarlison's on it.
How do you have Ferguson and Solanke that same? Come on now, man.
Can you
Ferguson's
imagine?
way better than Solanke.
facts?
Dead guy. Solanke should be
If
in
I'm
D.
doing anything, I'm moving Jesus up. I'm moving. What do you call it? Ferguson and actually Darwin Núñez up, and I'll move up Awani too. I'm saying he's been balling, but hey, keep him at C.
Chill out, like let him do. Yeah, let him do.
Bring down Dominic Solanke, Rasmus Højlund. What has he done really?
Latoya Jackson. Move Latoya Jackson as well, man. Missing
Bro,
open goals.
I'm taking everyone in D. I'm taking everyone in D and getting them out of there also. But yeah, let's.
Now, do you know what? I will say one thing. Better was actually a good striker, and so is Rasmus Højlund. I think they will change a lot of opinions.
We'll have to wait and see.
Højlund looked very good when he came on at the Emirates. I won't lie. Højlund did look very good.
Højlund's a baller, man. Don't
He
sleep
looked-
on
he
him.
looked busy, he
The
looked
turn
busy, he
did to
looked
play
busy.
that pass to Casemiro that Casemiro played to Garnacho, which was offside. The pot he looked sharp. I can't lie. He's a handful as well. He's a handful.
He's
Yeah,
rapid.
by the way, is Havertz
He's
hurt?
good as well.
Did Havertz get injured? Any news on that?
No, I think people just hoping he
Nah,
does.
people are just yeah.
Bro, that's messed
He's
up.
alright.
Yeah,
hoping injury's bad. Hoping injury's bad, but
I can never do that.
hoping injury's bad, but something's got to take him out of the lineup.
Why is there a but, bro? Why is there a but? Hoping injuries is bad, but you're taking a mick.
No, but you look. Would you rather, yeah? Because I thought about this the other day. We've got Jorginho, and I think a lot of people forget that. Like, Jorginho was never my first choice midfielder to come in, but would you not say Jorginho is a better midfielder than Havertz? Midfielder.
Brother, in my starting 11 for the Man U game, I would put Jorginho over Havertz, bro.
No, but it depends what you want, though, innit?
Tell Rice to be the 8 and Jorginho to be the 6.
Okay, guys, since you guys want to have this Havertz conversation right now, we'll have the Havertz conversation right now. I don't know where Curran is, but hopefully he'll be joining us very soon. Big up Curran. Because I wanted to save this portion of the conversation for him. But let's just put this on pause for a second. If you're not going to start Havertz, who is it time to start? Because I got some people we got to talk about starting potentially. We're already starting Eddie, so there's no point in talking about him. Is it time that we start talking about potentially starting our new signing in Raya? Is it time that we start talking about starting Fabio Viera? Is it time that we start having a conversation on maybe starting Jorginho? Like, are these players up for conversation to be starting in these games? Because in the Champions League, I can tell you for a fact, Trossard is going to get more game time as we get into 2 games a week. People are really on this whole Trossard thing. He had 1 game, guys, and he wasn't that good. Let's be honest. Let's not lie. You should be playing on merit, and he doesn't deserve to play on merit at this moment in time.
Let's be real. Bukayo Saka should be dropped. Martinelli should be dropped. There's many players who should be dropped if we're going to be talking about that.
Facts.
I've been saying it for weeks. I've been saying it.
Eddie
is the only one I would actually say on merit should start. That's the only player.
As an attacker.
Bro, you're crazy if you think Bukayo Saka is going to get dropped. The guy's
no. I'm talking.
He's not saying he will get dropped, but he's saying currently the way he's playing.
For what?
He should.
For who?
Doesn't matter,
bro. You're not listening. His context is people because you were just talking about Trossard. He had a bad game, and Saka's had bad games. Martinelli's had bad games. That's what he's just trying to say. So they could arguably get dropped too, innit?
Saka to his high standards is not gone up to his high standards. But let's have.
I think even for his low standards, he's not done.
Has Saka actually been that poor when he created the most chances in the league this season so far? The most chances.
But this is the thing about Saka that you need to understand, and I really understood it last season, innit? The start of last season, we were saying the same shit about Saka. He started a bit slow. He's getting involved in goals, but he's not really playing up to. And he got into gear, so I'm not worried about this Saka thing. He's gonna get back kicking like he does. That's just what he does. But one thing about Saka is, even as bad as he plays, I don't know how he does it, bro. He still manages to play an important part in a goal that we score. At least once in the game. I don't know what it is about him, bro. As bad as he plays or performs, he'll look at even the Declan Rice thing. You might say it was a corner, but it was his corner. As much as you want to say it was just the corner, it was his corner.
Gabriel Martinelli couldn't get past the first man.
So, boy, he finds a way to be effective, even though he's not performing well in a moment.
90% of Saka's corners are horrible.
Everyone think.
But that wasn't, bro. That didn't go. It's not a fluke. If that one wasn't in it. So you get what I'm saying.
9 out of 10 Saka corners hit the first man.
No, but this is the thing. Look,
he got it right at a pressure moment. He's a big game, big moment player.
You know what it is? I agree with all that. But the part of the problem is that Saka playing this poorly and popping up can sometimes be a good thing, but sometimes it can actually cost us the game, like it did against Fulham.
I don't think Saka cost us against Fulham. Yes, he did actually, based on the goal that we conceded, the opening goal.
Both goals. He didn't pick up his man for the equalizer either.
Okay, fair enough. If you want to say,
but this is the thing. I think what people are going to do is they're going to hyper-contextualize what we're saying. We're not saying Saka's a bad player. We're saying he's off form. I look at him even against England. I'll be honest with you. I watched the England game and I was like, yo, this guy does not look the same right now. Even for England, and granted the whole team was shit. I'm not sitting here and saying it was only Saka. But I've always said, I don't know if it's mental fatigue. I don't know if it's physical fatigue. But something has to give. He needs to. And you know what I would do? I would genuinely drop him and put Jesus there. I think Jesus off the right-hand side, the £500 million. Yeah, I believe that. He's a bargain of the summer.
Exaggerating.
Bargain. Declan Rice is the bargain
So
transfer
just
of
relax,
the
man.
summer.
Relax, man. So stop this, man.
No. If you believe
Hey,
something, say it, bro. If you don't, then who cares?
Yeah, but come on, like, come on.
1 second.
Come on,
I'm just gonna say this.
We maybe in a few years we'll say it was a bargain, the money, but right now he's not
you
the
could
bargain
come
of the
back and
summer.
say, you know what, I got it right.
I'm just gonna say this. For somebody who's had a poor start to the season, if this is a poor start to the season for Saka, I can't wait for when he gets into full goal.
Yeah.
We got Tottenham in 2 games. He usually turns up big against Tottenham. So
He does. He
we're
loves
gonna
his
see that.
North
We're gonna see
London
that North
derby,
London
man.
derby performance. But we need to see one good big performance from him. Have we seen a big performance from him so far this season? I would say
I say the Nottingham Forest goal, but I don't think it overnight.
Nah, it wasn't a big performance. We've not seen it.
He's had moments. But you know what, though? One thing I will say, sometimes it's good to have this where he can actually rest up in a game. So he's still playing the game. He's still feeling the intensity. He's still doing what he needs to do. But he pops up. My problem is, if this now becomes like a continuous, like, is he becoming a lapsadaisical? Is it a mentality thing? Is it because he knows he's not going to get dropped? Because
look,
I'll be honest with you, if you look at it last season, the guy was hungry and you could see the hunger. Whereas with this season, the one thing I've not liked about the whole team is the amount of moaning that's going on. There's like a missed pass. Oh, why did you do that? It's like, shut the fuck up. You're shit as well, bro. You don't made the right pass either. Like, why are you complaining about next month's pass when you've been crap? So
there's
one thing I say,
two elements, though. There's 2 elements that people again need to just calm down when it comes to the Saka thing. You watch now. Jesus is back in the starting lineup. Watch how much space he gets.
Yeah.
Watch how the link up's different now. Watch how Martinelli's game goes up. It's just unfortunately the guy that's in form, which is Eddie Nketiah, doesn't work well with those 2 wingers. He doesn't bring them into play. Unfortunately, as much as he's earned the right to be playing. That's why I said we should start Trossard on the left to help him out in those situations. So watch, as soon as Jesus starts starting games, we'll start seeing Saka more involved, going on the outside a lot more than he goes on the inside. So, and even though, as Igor said, even though he's not started well, just like last season, he's had many goal involvements in the first 4 games. So I'm all right. I'm ready.
But you know what it is, though? My only issue is, right, is when I put, like, because I genuinely do put Saka in one of the best young players in world football, let alone the Premier League for a moment. My problem is when I'm seeing players take the game on their own, I'm not seeing that from Saka. It does concern me because for me, I can't put you as the best young player in world football and you're not grabbing these games when we need you to. And that's the only thing. And look, it's too early. I know I'm being reactionary, but the problem is when fans want to talk playing players on merit, playing players on form, well, unfortunately, call your main players out before we start calling the players who should be called out anyway.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying with that, but only thing I will say is, like we mentioned before, it's early in the season. I back him to kick on any minute now. You might be right about the hunger. You know, we've seen many times in the past players get new big contracts and straight away the motivation, the heart just dies.
Niger boy, bro. He's grounded. He doesn't.
That's what I was about to say. That's not. I don't think that's going to be a thing of Saka. But there's definitely games where Saka's been the man that steps up for it. Like Liverpool at home last year, just an example. You know, he scores the goal before half-time to put us 2-1 up going into the break. Scored pressure penalty towards the end of the game. Scores brace against Liverpool. I mean, there's other games that he scored in North London derbies. He scored in that. He got our only goal City at home last year. Kept his nerve. Like again, a game where we weren't great. Saka got our only goal. Like. There's definitely examples of him turning up in these games. I mean, he could have had the winner at Anfield if Martinelli played that pass right. I backed Saka to finish that. Like, he's going to turn up, but again, like we're saying, we are being reactionary. It's been an average start to the season, but realistically,
everyone
we're going to kick on when the games start rolling in. We've got Spurs at home next. No, sorry, Everton away next. As long as we beat them and get past Spurs, the season will kick on quickly, and we'll see. As soon as because. Right now, I just think we're in a situation. I think we had an experimental period, which is the Havertz in midfield. And then I think Man United, Arteta was ready to go back to Partey in midfield, but obviously we didn't have that option. So we stuck with it. But I think when the experimenting's done and we've got everyone back full strength, we're going to see ourselves better than we were last season because Declan Rice is one hell of an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. I'll say that for free. So I can see us going up levels.
If Havertz is taken out of the team, before we even discuss Havertz, because I feel like that's the conversation we can keep for the end of the show. Yeah. What is your solutions? Because for me, I think it's time for Fabio Viera to start. And with us talking about time for Fabio Viera to start, maybe we can talk about Jorginho, Partey, all these other people. But before we go any further, I just want to point out something, guys. There is a topic on the in the comment section about Gabriel Magalhaes' injury. This guy got kneed in the chest against Bolivia by a Bolivian player in the 5th minute of the game. He played until the 85th minute and then was having ice pack on his knee. People took this photo and said, "Oh my God, he has a knee injury. We're fucked." Right? 2 days later, the guy's training with the Brazil national team. So relax. He's okay. It's been confirmed. He's fully involved in training with the Brazil national team. He's fully fit and available. And this was literally just a substitution. And this is the way that they prep players when they're on the bench, so they don't get inflammation in their knee. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just a normal procedure. So we're good. He's not injured. Nothing to worry about. I don't know why
we need him as well. I really like Gabriel. I really like Gabriel. He's got the occasional mistake in him, but like one thing I really like about, because obviously we live in an era where players are so far removed from fans and stuff, and I just really like the passion that Gabriel shows on the pitch, even when sometimes he doesn't have the best of games. At least I think out of the whole team, I can see in him
heart on his sleeve, man. Heart on his sleeve, man.
Yeah,
100%.
I think he cares the most. It means the most to him. Like, even that might be unpopular, I don't know, but I think Gabriel, serious. He's a serious warrior. I really like Gabriel. I don't want to see him injured.
North side in the comment section.
People were happy to see Gabriel back, like, oh, I'll take this and run to Saudi. I want to know, who would people actually bring in that's better than Gabriel as a left-footed centre back?
Bro,
people
just say things. They don't actually mean it. Nobody actually was ever going to sit here and say us selling Gabriel Magalhaes on the last couple of days of the transfer window makes any sense. But big up Northside. Hit that like button, guys. Subscribe if you guys are new also. Go check out Northside's channel. By the way, me and him are going to be doing a lot of content this season, hopefully together, as we are cool now. There's no beef. There's any beef, guys. But yeah, you guys already know. I don't know why people always think because we argue about Arsenal that we're beefing each other. It's like, what the hell? We just talk about football.
People don't understand there's a difference.
It's the way now, isn't it? People can't have difference of opinion without beefing, apparently. So
that is exactly what I was gonna say. But yo, let's get into this though. Fabio Viera, what are we saying? It's time to start him?
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm loving these little cameos he's doing. I'm loving it. And if we were to, and you know what? It's the perfect opportunity to, like, let's just wait it out until the Carabao Cup, where he can play a full 90 there if he wants. Do you know what I'm saying? And show on the back. Well, hold on. On the back of these 20-minute, 15-minute cameos, I hear it, but we just want to know for sure. So if I was to start him, it'd be in a low risk game, and I don't think it's Everton, considering what happened at Goodison Park last season. I think we should go with Jorginho and Declan Rice in the middle of the park for that game, because they tried to bully us at last time. We can't have that.
But one thing I'll say about Viera is, though, and I noticed this last season, because you can see it from both sides. You're right. I wouldn't back Viera in a game of importance right now. I wouldn't put Viera in North London derby. I wouldn't put him in Everton away. But then on the same other note, playing him in the FA Cup or the Carabao, and last year how we were playing in Europa, putting him in teams where he's playing with Marquinhos, Reece Nelson, and Eddie, it's not better. We don't really see his full potential. I don't think he's an amazing player. He's not.
I hear you, my brother, but
I don't think he's Ben Smith Rowe.
But on that point in particular, I hear you, but I've seen Arsene Wenger make teams play in those tournaments. Viera, if he's good enough, he'll make himself stand out we should say, oh, he's a cut above the rest. You know how many times you watch a Carabao Cup where there's one really good player in the mix, you're like, oh, you can see he's a cut above the rest. We need to see that in that game. Maybe not, he might not look as good as he would with the first team, but we need to see, he needs to be with the first team, because I felt last season, especially in the Europa League, there was nobody in our B team
didn't make any argument
that made it seem, we got a difficult decision on Saturday. No, not once. It was crazy. So that's what I need from the B team kind of players this season.
But is he better than Smith Rowe?
Let me stop everybody right now. I'm gonna state it again, and this is more so I can get a more clear-cut answer. Everybody in the comment section, everybody here, and I'm gonna probably go to Souls, because you two have already spoken on this slightly. Everton away, Kai Havertz to start, Jorginho to start, or what do you call it, Fabio Viera to start? What would you rather do? Because I'm thinking
Where's
Fabio
Smith Rowe?
Viera starting versus Everton away. It's a good choice. The elephant in the room is Smith Rowe hasn't played a minute of football this season, and it just doesn't make sense to just throw him in to start against Everton.
Yeah.
For me, it's
Personally.
it's one of ESR or Kai Havertz for me.
So no Fabio Viera.
No.
Okay, so what's your case for Kai Havertz to start?
So there's a few reasons now. We see Zinchenko's back and we see Gabriel Jesus is back. Now, one of the key things that Havertz is going to provide is height. And that's one of the key things that we're going to need, especially with Beto coming in, with the likes of Onana being in that midfield, Decore being in that midfield. Height is needed. The one thing that a lot of people aren't, look, I'm not saying praise Havertz for anything. I'm criticizing him. He doesn't deserve to be praised. I'm not sitting there and saying that. But his defensive work and his ability to win the ball back has actually been good. His aerial duels and his ability to win duels is actually the best at Arsenal right now. So when you're looking at a midfield that had been overrun, it has been. Yeah, it has been. He's actually had the most duels and aerial duels won. So when I'm looking at that, look, that could be a skewed stat because of the opponents we played, fair enough. But at the same time, the reason why I say is when you look at the way Gabriel Jesus plays in terms of coming in deep and wanting to play off someone, I feel like with Havertz and Jesus playing off of each other, it could be a good link up. And the reason why I don't agree with the Fabio Viera one is because for me, sometimes players are better when there's chaos. And I feel like Fabio Viera is one of those players when you're chasing a goal. It's a bit like Garnacho. Garnacho, as a footballer, I actually rate him very highly. But when he's good, it's coming off the bench and you need a goal. Elanga's the same thing. And I'm not saying that Fabio Viera technically is better than both of them. But even with Trossard to some degree, he thrives under the pressure and under the needing the goal, needing a moment. And that's what those players are good for. And when you look at this whole new rule that's come in, even if you come on the 60th minute, you could be playing 45 minutes because a game can go to 115 minutes, 110 minutes. So the reality of substitutions has now changed. You need to have finishers and you need to have starters. And for me, I think Kai Havertz falls into the starter category, whereas with Fabio Viera, for me, he's a better finishing player. Bring him on when you need a goal. But if you need to assure things up, that's when you bring a Jorginho on. And that's just how I see the squad. And I feel like we need to evaluate as an 18 rather than an 11 or a 20 maybe even. So that's just why I say it.
Can I respond to him?
Are you sitting here saying to me, starting Fabio Viera might actually weaken our bench?
Not necessarily weaken the bench, but the amount of players we can have that have proven to be impact players, like Eddie Nketiah, being as let's be honest, if he comes off the bench, we're about 10% confidence he's going to do anything. Whereas with his stats suggest when he starts, he's going to be better. So when he starts, you're going to look at it and go, okay, he's had 18 and 20. He's had 20 starts and he scored 18 goals. So you're going to be a bit more confident that he might get something. Whereas with coming off the bench, I think he's come off the bench about 4 or 5 times and scored 1 goal. And his ratio off the bench isn't great. And we've seen it, even if you look at the eye test. And that's what I think with Fabio Viera for some degree as well. And Trossard might fall into that category for me.
Do you know what? So I hear where you're coming from, but because I see Havertz's role to be different to maybe you in this squad. So I don't know if I'm right or who's right with it, but my perfect situation for Havertz right now is to be coming on as the backup for like the false 9, coming on last 20 minutes when teams are a bit tired or we need to play a little bit more direct. He can hold it up as the false 9 and fill in there, maybe nick a little goal, get some confidence up. That's how I see Kai Havertz. Or maybe coming in something different to like an Odegaard when he's fading out in the game to start off with. That's how I see it. And eventually, maybe, and I was saying, maybe he gets his first start in the Champions League game as a false 9 for me, though, not in that midfield role that we've seen in personally, because I believe, as much as it hurts me to say, him and Jorginho are the most experienced Champions League players in our squad right now. Those are the facts. So it wouldn't have surprised me that much if Kai Havertz started that Champions League game. But what's going on now? I think Arteta's trying to prove a point, but I think he's also making it difficult for him to bed into the squad because everyone's eyes are on him, man. If we're seeing 70 to 90 minutes of him every week at the start, I don't know, it just makes it really difficult for him. I say you take him out of the limelight for now, ease him back in while we're playing well, because it scares me to see Zinchenko and Havertz on that same left side. It scares me, bro. I feel we're going to be exposed in certain situations.
When you're talking about evolution of systems, you need to get that team to play together. The less they play together, the less that midfield synchronizes together. Because the thing is, a lot of people want Declan Rice to move into the 8. That's never going to happen. And I'll tell you for a few reasons why. Because Declan Rice is seen as a 6.
It is going to happen.
No. Declan Rice is seen as a 6. It's very evident because you wouldn't move Partey out of position if you wanted to play them two in the midfield. Now, when you look at Partey has never moved out when he's been the best 6 at the club. We've not moved Partey out of position to accommodate for other people.
What was the midfield in the Community Shield game, bro? Was it not Rice, Partey, and Oliver?
Against big teams, maybe.
But and also,
I don't see that.
Look, I think maybe long term because Partey is probably going to be. I think Partey might be leaving in the summer because obviously age-wise and contract situation, potentially he needs a new jersey, whatever, right? A number of things. So I think maybe
sell him.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to it next summer because of the age and the state of the contract. Because we're not going to offer him a new contract. I don't think that's the way we
deal. He's our best midfielder. Give him a new deal. Well, I don't.
No, you can.
He's not reliable.
You can't be the best when you're never available. It's like saying Reece James is the best right back.
Dylan, I hear you. I hear you that he's good.
He missed
1 second. Let me land.
Last season,
I hear you, bro.
Season, he missed 5 games last season, 2 of which he was on the bench. He missed 3 games through injury last season.
Who were the 5 games?
He missed both games against City.
Yeah.
He missed both games against City.
That's just unlucky. That's
he missed Manchester United.
No.
But, bro, there's no coincidence that you are not reliable when we need you the most down the stretch of the season all the time.
That is a coincidence. Because he was
Look, this is what I'll say. I'm not going to as far as saying he's not reliable and blah, 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 because that's not what I would cash in on him.
Reliable?
But, hold on. Let me deal with the Partey situation. Let me deal with the Partey because look, prior to last season, we say he's had a lot of injuries, but last season he as Dan said, he played a lot of games, right? My reason for wanting to potentially cash in on Partey at the end of the season is because of age. And I can't see the injury form getting better as he gets older. And this is the only time we're probably going to get to cash in on him. And then maybe you can see Rice as the 6. But from the communication with Rice and the interviews I've been seeing, he's very encouraged about doing a lot of things going forward and playing in that 8 role and being more influential going forward. So I believe the benefit of him is that we can use him in both situations. So let's see who the midfielder we bring in to in next summer to see.
Because there aren't many.
I'm just going to show you something. I'm just going to show you something. This is what pissed me off. When you're one of our best players, we need you at 90% of the season. But when we need you the most is when we go up against the better teams in the league. Every single time we play Man City, he comes up injured. Is it a coincidence?
No. I don't blame him for missing the big games, but I just think it's annoying when he does. But the other thing is, right, even if you exclude his injuries, what happened last season when the whole team collapsed? He also collapsed. You had to go play right back because
whole team collapsed. You said it, bro.
The whole team collapsed. But you're Thomas Partey. You're 20. No. You're 29 years old. You're the most experienced player at this club. You're meant to be the guy that at least brings some, But this guy was tapping his head. The man's head was gone. I'm not having it.
He was carrying the injuries, to be fair. He was carrying it.
He's injured. This conversation is better than the Havertz conversation.
Bro, the man's always fucking injured. What do you want me to do? I don't want an injured man. We are
I think everyone needs their chance. Let Dylan go. Because Dylan, you're fighting for your life.
Number one, we're not going to get anyone better than Thomas Partey. Anyone. We're not going to get anyone better because Rodri is the only person in that position who's debatably better than him in the league. For me. The only one who's debatable. Declan Rice is not better than Thomas Partey. He's a great player. He will be probably, but he's not better than Thomas Partey now.
I think you've got a better foundation.
He's not. Declan Rice is not better than him. Thomas Partey.
Not yet, anyway. You're right. You're spot on, Dylan.
The only player who can chat to him is Rodri. And even Zinchenko, who's played with both. Yeah. Rodri and Partey have played at Atletico together. Zinchenko's played with both, said Partey's better. I have always thought Partey's better. But
I hear that Zinchenko one, Dylan, but he also said Mudrik's going to be world class.
He's Spanish, whatever. He's won this, he's won that. If people want to have the European bias, because I know if Thomas Partey's name was Tomás Parchinho and he had a Brazilian flag on his FIFA card, he'd be in Team of the Year conversations. Yeah, it's only because it's different. Yeah, but this guy, we're not going to get someone better than Partey. So I hear what you're
I
saying.
don't need
but
better. I
question
need
is,
more reliable.
I hear what you're saying with age, but we're not getting someone better than Thomas Partey. We're not.
I don't
This is the
care.
thing,
I don't
like,
need
we can
someone better. I
cash
need
in. We
someone
might
who's
get
better.
money for
Let
the
me
Saudi
make my
club.
case. 1 second. Souls, let me make my case. My case to you, bro, is one, Thomas Partey is how old? 31, 32?
30.
How old is he?
He's
On
just turned
paper, on
30
paper,
years
on
old, right?
paper.
If the club is going to give him a new contract, another 2 years extension, keep him for the remainder of this, kind of makes sense. But in the same breath, he has not been reliable. Mikel Arteta has clearly shown that he's reducing his role in the team by how he's been playing him out of position. Also, we're trying to evolve our midfield away from the oldest.
He's reducing his role in the team, bro. He started every game. What are you talking about,
He's
bro?
starting
he's
him
putting him in
outside.
right back. But like I said before, I only think.
Yeah, but he's still
He's
still inverted, bro. So he's not reducing his role in the team.
Bro, the reason why he's reducing his role, he's making sure Declan Rice plays in that 6.
My brother, he's not reducing any role, bro. He started every game, and he was an inverted right back. It's not like he was hugging the touchline.
Let me just say this. If Arsenal were to have gotten a suitable offer for Thomas Partey in the summer, they would have sold him, which tells me he is not directly part of their plans for the foreseeable future. If they were going to keep him, they would have given him a new contract this season, as they were giving all these other players new contracts. Now, if you tell me, if we give him a new contract, I believe then we're going to keep him for another year or two. But for me, his injury issues, in addition to the fact that he's an older player and he's one of our highest paid players, and he has not been reliable every year that he's been here. There's been major portions of the season where he's been unreliable due to injury. And his first season, I'll give him a break. His second season was where I started to say, you know what, this is starting to get annoying. And this is somebody who's never been injured before he came to Arsenal. It just pisses me off.
But I want to actually tell you the truth, yeah? I want to tell you one truth. He, pre-season, the whole thing of there was offers, Arsenal might have accepted this, Arsenal might have accepted that. Footballing-wise, Thomas Partey was never in anyone's mind to get rid of him, yeah? The whole link
I actually
away,
said we should.
Purely legal. No, you need to let me finish. It's purely legal based, yeah? Now, a lot of people don't know this. It's pretty much fact. I've heard it. It's pretty much
allegedly though, Dylan.
No,
allegedly.
Not that.
I'm protecting you. It's allegedly.
Pre-season. So obviously, you know how he wasn't included in the squad to fly to America originally.
Yeah.
Through injury. The team flew out on the Sunday. The rumor is, and apparently it's the truth, he had a hearing on the Monday. Why is it all of a sudden that the Tuesday, the day after, all the breaking news was Thomas Partey's in Arsenal's plans for the future. Thomas Partey this. Arsenal will no longer be looking to sell. The day after this hearing on the Monday, and he's flying straight out to America. And all of a sudden, the talk's over. I promise you, all of that talk was only legal based. It was only Arsenal thinking about, all right, cool, is this the right time to cash in? Is he going to end up in a situation where we have like a Quincy Promes on our hands? Like, that's all it was. Footballing wise, we were never looking to sell.
He's an idiot. I agree with you, Dylan, but allegedly, we'll just say allegedly.
Yeah, but this isn't the debate that we're having. We're not talking about Partey's ability to play football. It's the same way, like, you can talk about Reece James's ability as the best right back in the world, but if he's not available and he's not playing, you can't make that conversation. And that, for me, is the biggest frustration. Like, if he's fit or if he's a lot more available when we need him, then I don't have this conversation. But for me, he's coming to 30. He's had loads of injury problems, and it's not going to get any better. That's the problem that I have with it.
That's
the reason, obviously, why we bought Declan Rice.
Could we do a Gundogan? Because is that what you want us to do? Give him a lesser role, and when it comes to big games, reliable games, play Partey.
Yeah, that's why we bought Declan Rice in. Like, for me, I think,
and that's why this Partey thing.
I even said this about Kieran Tierney when he was getting his injury
problem.
Buy a starting left back and bench Kieran Tierney. And this is what I want with Thomas Partey. Get your starting DM, which is clearly Declan Rice, and bench Thomas Partey so that when you actually need him, you play him, or you play him for 35 minutes.
But Souls, hold on, Dylan. Souls, you see the problem here? Right now, Partey is better than Rice as the 6, my brother.
I disagree.
And that's facts. That is fact. It's not for me. It's not even a debate. I respect your opinion, but for me, it's not even a debate. Yeah, if you're saying Declan Rice will eventually be better than Partey, of course, that's a great argument. I can see he's got bags of potential, working on under Arteta, getting more opportunities to play big games for sure. But as of now, Partey is our best 6. But what I will say, with Rice coming in, it means the missing. Like, for example, last season we had freaking Sambi Lokonga playing in that game. Whereas now, just switch, put Declan on that, and then we have an option. So we don't miss Partey now as much as good as he is as a player. We don't miss him as much because Rice can play that role. He can't do as good as him just yet, but he can play that role. So I agree with you. Enjoy the heck out of Partey this season, I think, Dylan, because his legs are getting old and his injuries are going to probably more pick up than not. I know you're saying we can't get anyone better, but we need to start being in a position where if we can cash in now and look for the future, because worst case scenario, he plays one more season at the top level. And boy, allegedly he's 31, but...
Okay, let me ask everyone right now. January, I don't want to sell Thomas Partey because I don't think we're going to get anything to replace him. But in the summer, if we have a situation where we can further strengthen the midfield and we can get a decent amount of money for a player who has 1 year remaining, at that point, we have to consider selling him. Because I don't think we're going to get
Who's the player that's better than him? Who is it?
No, it's not about who's player. We're going to get a different type of player. Because we have Declan Rice as the 6 and we have Jorginho, we're probably going to get a midfielder who can play multiple positions, like somebody who could do both roles. I don't know who that player is right now because we're not linked to that type of profile.
For me, that's why I really wanted Lavia to come in this season keep Partey. So at the end of this season, he could have been the guy to take over after being his understudy for a season. I wanted that, and we still had Rice, and we still had. Do you know what I'm saying? But
I want to know what everyone in the comment section thinks because Dylan's made his case and why he believes we should keep Partey. And you think even at the end of the year, 1 year contract, 1 year left, would you let him run down his contract or would you just give him a new deal?
I'll give him a new deal.
Aren't you worried about his breaking down, his injuries, consistent injuries?
He's had one injury this season, which is a groin. I've had groin injuries. It's not that deep. It's really not that deep. Yeah. Last season, like I said, it's been blown out of proportion. He missed like 3 games.
Dylan,
They happen to be big games.
bro. Dylan, how old are you, my brother? Are you 31?
No, I hear this. I hear the age conversation. The age conversation.
I've had the same injury.
On the pitch, he's not playing like a 31-year-old. He's silky. Like the guy's. Oh,
brother! If so Thomas Partey came out and told you he was 38 years old, you wouldn't argue with him.
Guys, listen. Because it's a tie. Because it's a tie, and we got 2 people that are saying Thomas Partey should be staying. We shouldn't be selling him. Me and Gunnar Souls are saying, you know what, we can consider selling him this next year. Or what are you saying?
You're saying we should sell him. You didn't consider anything, Igal. You said you should sell him.
I'm saying next summer.
Don't sugarcoat it, bro.
I've just hopped from one stream to the other, so I haven't been watching at all.
I'm just gonna fill you in. We started off the conversation by talking about midfielders and who should play and this and that, and then we found our way into Partey and talking about if he should stay. I mean, if we should sell him or if we should be giving him a new contract. Kunle and Dylan are of the mindset that he's still our best defensive midfielder and he should be staying at all costs.
I said he can go in the summer, but he's still our best 6 right now, though.
Okay. So we're saying who should be sold in the summer or not?
Who should be sold? Partey be sold in the summer, and is Declan Rice better than Partey right now? Those are the 2 conversations.
So Partey. Look, I don't really.
Before you come in, I'm saying Partey is our best 6, but I don't see him continuing that for the next 2 years. So cash in on him at the end of the season. But right now, he's our best 6 because I believe Rice can become our best 6. But as of now, right now, it's Partey, bro.
No, I understand that, but my thing is quite clear: is how much will he be available for when we need him the most? We've got City in a couple of weeks. He's not going to be there, is he? And it's that simple for me. I think he's a great player. He's a really good player, but I can't rely on him, and he's getting older. So if we can sell him. But I personally think what's going to happen is despite what we want, I think he will get extended for about another year and on a Xhaka type thing, where we'll extend him and then sell him maybe the next season or something like this. I don't mind that. I don't mind. I just don't want. My whole thing is very simple. I don't want to be relying on Thomas Partey when we need him. I want to be able to bring him into a team where he can improve what we have already. But I don't want to have him as like the guy that we have to have in specific games.
But Curran, we got Rice there, so we don't have to
exactly, which is why I don't mind if he stays. I would prefer if he goes, because I think we can bring in someone younger, maybe a bit more with a bit more reliability about him. But
who?
Yeah,
you have to think. Like, the thing is, right, when we're looking at who we're
all is for the whole, all right, cool, he's old, we need to bring in someone, but I just want to know who it is we're replacing with, because I don't want to see us get worse. That's it. Like,
no, of course not, and I don't think any of us want to see us get worse. The question is with Partey is, are we sticking him at the inverted right back? Are we doing the 6 and Rice 8? Does Rice move back? Do we know how we're going to play? And this is why I think saying specific names for Partey's replacement is a bit premature, because we don't know what his actual position is right now. Is he an inverted right back, or is he a 6? Is that what we want to go?
He's a box to box. He can play box to box.
He's box to box. This is the thing, because the thing is, we do have guys coming through as well. If he's
box to box as well.
Yeah, but he's in the side as a 6, bro.
Don't forget, he wasn't viewed as somebody who's only a 6 when he came to us. He was viewed as somebody who could play as an 8.
I've always thought he's a box to box. I don't even know why he's now being compared to. I've always thought he was a centre mid box to box.
Dylan, if you like, I'm just going from what I'm hearing Rice talk about a lot. He talked about in his interviews. He says, when Partey is playing, I play as the 8.
Mm-hmm.
I came here. Partey, I'm learning of him as the 6. I'm learning off different aspects. So when I play as a 6, I do this. But when he's playing, I know I'm going to be the 8. So that there's a clear plan. He came because he's excited about Arteta unlocking his attacking potential. He's talked about it numerous times. So that's why I don't think he's only going to play as the 6. I believe he's in the team so he can play as both roles.
Yeah,
I mean, there's many players that's been effective in both roles and in 2 roles in the Premier League in previous.
But this is most of our squad, isn't it? Like, this is most of our squad, isn't it? Like, a lot of our squad is like, we don't play at one position. Like, you look at like Fabio Viera, who's going to be playing across the mid in both midfield spots and right wing. Trossard, Havertz as well, centre forward and left centre mid. Like, there's a lot of these players. So when you're talking about going forward, I think Timber obviously is going to play a big part, because that's one of Partey's roles, is inverted right back, and that's going to be his position as well. In terms of 6, obviously we've got Declan Rice, and if it does mean we bring another 8 through, or promote Vieira a bit more, or have Trossard or even Emil, who seems to be gone basically from the team right now, come through a bit more, there is definitely a way to do that. But the question is who the direct replacement for Thomas Partey is, and there's not a lot of names. I'm not going to agree with you guys on that. There's not a lot, a massive name of 6s that I can reel off that is going to be like, oh, it's going to be the best replacement for Thomas Partey, because it's not an easy replacement to make.
But that shouldn't be the reason why we don't consider moving on a player. I think the scouts need to do their job. From our perspective, if Thomas Partey is available and we give him a new contract and we give him a lesser role where we don't have to worry about his injuries too much, I'm okay with that. The only reason why I'm saying we should sell him is because, you know what, if he's going to continuously have these injury issues, which I feel like it seems like a lot more than maybe you guys think it is, because the numbers might say, hey, he's only missing these many games, but it always seems like he has some sort of knock or something every other day, and that's quite frustrating for me. Now, one, I can acknowledge he's one of our best players, and I can acknowledge that he's a great player, but it seems like almost every single time there's an international break or something happens, we're just worried that he's going to be missing time, and I just don't want our future and our success to be tied down to Thomas Partey's injury.
Whether we're worried or not, he still played a bag of games last season, bro.
Has he ever played more than 25 league games for us, though?
Yes,
he played
last season.
How many did he play last season? Did he play 33 games last season?
38.
And was it that many?
Because he was fit.
Yeah, I'm glad you.
All right. Because the thing is, I remember before last season, because I don't have the numbers. Before last season, that was a thing that he never played more than 25. If he's played 33. Fair enough. That's a big improvement for him.
And now he's played in a team that has Declan Rice and Jorginho if we really need him, I guess. So, and we all know how reliable Declan Rice is when it comes to being fit and available. So I think Partey in the squad makes sense. And also, I'm just worried
Yeah,
about.
you're right.
If
33 games. Fair enough. That's the most he's played for us, by the way.
For sure. But
And I think
potentially,
he's gonna
if we
play
sell
more
him in the
this year,
summer,
maybe.
if we sell him in the summer, we might have to go big on his replacement. I don't know if
Guys,
we do. We might have to.
I want to give
And I
him.
would prefer we go big on a striker or Osimhen. You get me?
If he's around, I want to give him similar to like Fernandinho, that kind of role. I don't want it, and I think even Souls would agree with me. If he has that kind of role in the team where he's not relied upon to be week in, week out starter every single game, and when we need him the most, like in those big games, he's there, I'm okay with that. But the person that we've had to have in Thomas Partey was somebody who, if he's injured, we have El Neni as a backup. Now we don't have to worry about that too much.
And the other thing we're not talking about is, and I know before the comments start going crazy, he's not ready. He's not ready for first team football yet. But the question is when you're bringing through like Declan saying he's like he's talking to Jorginho, he's trying to learn from Jorginho. You've got a guy in Mars Lewis Skelly who's going to start coming through as well in terms of being on the periphery of the squad, having a role with the first team, getting into learning the position as well. And he's someone that's going to be coming in as well. So
I think it's too far down the line.
It's too far down the line, but for next season, he's going to be on the verge. He's already bossing it under 21s. He's going to be on that sort of how can I put it, on the Amario Cozy-Dubry role from last season, where he's on the periphery of the squad, learning from the squad, and then you can start making that transition from Partey to Lewis to MLS as well. So there is definitely. I think I think as football fans, we're all constantly thinking about signings, when there's also solutions within our team as well that can also fix the problem. And the other thing is Thomas Partey needs to be as not just Fernandinho, but the sort of like a role where we can use him if needed, not a question where we have to use him every single game. I think that's the main thing we all agree on. As long as he's making sure that. Second.
He's basically saying if your logic is Thomas Partey gets injured too much, based on that, shouldn't we sell Jesus? That's a good point.
No, it's not, because Jesus is not 30 years old and he's not getting into the twilight of his career. And Jesus, I agree, shouldn't be. I still think that Jesus is not someone that long term is going to be a fixed starter. You can't rely on anyone. Look, you can't rely on anyone. The point is, you don't want to be relying on one person.
Hey, don't do that, Karen. Don't do that.
But it's the truth, isn't it?
This is why you can't use that.
The thing is, Saka's the same thing.
Guys, let Dylan respond, and then Karen.
Sorry, I think Saka's just broken the record.
Let me just respond to Karen real quick. The reason why he can't say you can't rely on anyone, Karen, is because someone said we can't rely on Partey. So you can't now switch it because we said Jesus, you can't rely on anyone. If we're going to say a statement like we can't rely on Partey, then we can make a statement that we can't rely on Jesus. You can't just now respond with we can't rely on anyone.
Let's be clear what rely on means, right? It's not just a case of injuries, is it?
I'm just clearing up that point.
No, but the thing is, it's not just a case of injuries, is it? And the same thing Dylan mentioned about Saka. We shouldn't be relying on one player to carry our team or to do everything for the team. The question is we've got to have multiple solutions for multiple different problems. And that's the point. So saying that we have to rely on Eddie or Jesus or anyone, we shouldn't be relying on one player to carry us through a whole time. City have 17 or 18 players that can come in and do a job when needed. It's not a case of relying, and this is the thing with Saka as well. We can't be relying constantly on Saka either. We have to find solutions for when he's not there, because there's going to be games when he's not there. So
I just wanted to move past the Partey thing. So my main understanding of this whole conversation is you guys view Partey as a very big part of the squad still, and I don't think anyone's saying he's not. Wow. What all we're saying is his importance to the squad directly impacts if he's unavailable, we find ourselves in situations. Now that's where our squad depth and our squad management needs to come into play, and we need to be better. The manager needs to be better at that. We can all agree there. But one thing I hold Partey accountable for is obviously I can't say all his availability, but I feel like his future at Arsenal is directly linked to how much impact he can have throughout the year. And if he's 31 years old and we're seeing his impact in the team is diminishing, in my view, based on the fact that we bring in Declan Rice, we're playing in the right back position. We have other midfielders who can slot in. And when he's not available, like against Manchester United, we didn't see a dip in our form like we would have usually. So with this happening, we're seeing us moving away from the importance of Thomas Partey, which is preparing us for the way for the future when we do sell him. Now, I think that's closer than some of you guys do, but hey, that's my point. I think
I'm cool with selling him. I just want there to be an adequate replacement. There has to be. Cool, sell him. They could have sold him in summer. As long as there's someone better coming in, that's all I want.
I was cool with selling him in the summer if we
we made that
clear.
But
it's not.
I know.
By the way,
Partey goes in the summer.
Dylan,
we're not getting what he's worth because we don't have.
Dylan, they made it clear. They made it clear if they get 45 million for Thomas Partey in the summer, they were going to go buy an adequate replacement. They weren't going to go joking around trying to get nobody. They were serious about Lavia. They were serious about all these signings. It's just we never sold Partey.
Lavia weren't good enough to replace Partey.
Yeah, but you say that though. You say that about how they'll take 45 million to move. Yeah, but again, we couldn't even get a pound coin for Nicolas Pepe, who cost us 72 million. We couldn't get a pound coin for Nicolas Pepe. Like these owners are. I'm sorry, but like we big up a dude director of football. They're useless. Like I'm sorry, they're useless.
Our player sales have also
Declan Rice and that, and big players coming to Arsenal is purely down to the fact that we're on the up. And if anything, credit to Mikel Arteta. The actual people in charge are useless. Like they're not getting a pound coin for Pepe is not talked about enough. Like it's actually a disgrace.
Bro, if you can't get a pound, if you can't get a pound for a player, if you can't get a pound for a player that nobody in world football is interested in, it's not. We can't do nothing about that. The reality is our player sales is going to be directly credited to the players that people actually want to buy. Granit Xhaka, people wanted to buy him. 15 million was the starting price. He got up to 25. What about Balogun? Balogun, people were looking at trying to get him for 30 million. We ended up selling for 45. In order for us to get good money for players, it has to be players that people are interested in. We're not going to sell Cedric, Pepe, El Neni, these guys that people are not interested in.
Not them. We're not going to get rid of them.
Even
Balogun, for example, we've made that out to sound nice. Let's be honest now. We're in a market where there's no real strikers. We should be getting more than 30 million for Balogun.
We're also in the market. Dylan, we're also in a market. We're also in a market where the Premier League. We're also in a market where all the money's in the Premier League, and unless somebody from the Premier League is coming in for Pepe, we were never going to make any money off it.
But a pound coin.
We got 3 million apparently, but that was I don't know what that was for.
Nah, bro, we didn't get.
But what's been said is that Arsenal terminated the contract to let him walk. Again,
they mutually. It was a mutual. There's different types of termination. It's a mutual termination where literally there's no payment of his fees. They just terminated his contract. We didn't have to pay the last year of his fees, his wages. No, there's a mutual termination where we didn't have to pay the same as Willian. Basically, we just terminated the contract.
No, Willian walked. We didn't. That wasn't Arsenal. Willian was. People don't.
Yes, I know Willian walked. I'm talking about the contract itself. I'm not talking about the situation. Yeah. The contract itself, Willian went his way, we went our way. No one paid any fees. No one did anything. That's the same thing with Pepe. And if we're talking about this past summer in the sales, we are not good at selling. We have never been good at selling.
We've never been.
So, no, but the thing is, there's a difference between being good at selling and like saying that it's nothing to do. Look, the whole point of selling is being able to reinvest that money into your club and invest. If the spending isn't affected by sales, then the ownership have done their job. Okay, that's because we've still bought the players we wanted to play. If we just bought, if we got a say we got a 50 million fee for Pepe and it didn't get reinvested, does it mean anything? Does it mean anything to the squad at all?
No,
so the question is, do we have the amount of investment required to improve our squad this summer? Yes, we did. We spent over 200 million this summer. The sales, 100% could improve. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it was amazing. We got a good money for Xhaka. We got okay-ish money for Balogun. I still think we could have got more. We got okay-ish money for Balogun. Pepe, we had multiple clubs in Saudi, and he constantly was the one not going through with the move. He wasn't agreeing personal terms. There were things happening. He didn't want to make the moves. And when he did get his move, we couldn't get a fee for him. It happens. The same thing with it's happened quite a few times because of the poor mistakes we've had in the past 3 to 4 years or 5 years have led to us buying players that aren't good enough for our club and have meant that we have to terminate because players No one wants our players, especially, and they can't pay a fee for them, and that's happened. But the question is, has the squad been improved year on year? And the answer to that is yes. So I don't agree that it's all screw the ownership, everything. I think there's definitely things that they can improve on, but the question is the investment there? And the investment has been there, and that's the main thing if we're talking about.
You know what, guys? I was gonna speak about David Raya, but I feel like there's no point at this point. We spent so much time on Partey that I'm gonna take David Raya out of the thumbnail. Listen, do you guys have anything to say on David Raya before we go to Havertz?
It's not his time yet.
I want to quickly say, yeah. I'm not on Kai Havertz. Yeah, I want him to do well. I want Kai Havertz to have to work his way into the team the same way David Raya has to, and the same way you see how start of the season and in pre-season Trossard was playing well off the bench, or he was starting in pre-season against pre-season, and then when we saw him start up front, he didn't have a great game. He was awful against Fulham, but when we saw him start up front against Fulham, no one was shocked because he actually earned it. Good cameos, had a good pre-season. He earned it. Like if Raya has a good game of running, because he's going to play Champions League, I reckon. Raya. I think if Raya plays well, I'm not going to be shocked if he comes in for Ramsdale because we've bought him. What I think is unhealthy right now is that I think Arteta's ego. I've spent 65 million on Havertz. I'm going to look like a fool if he ends up on the bench and ends up being rubbish. I've got to play him. He better come good. I think it'd be far more healthy, not just for the team, not just for the way we play, but I think it'd be far more healthy for Havertz if he earned his way into the team on merit rather than it being more of a thing where, cool, I've spent 60 million, he's got to play. Because right now, he's just getting all the strays because of Arteta's ego and Arteta's management. And I'm not saying Arteta's doing a terrible job, but if we can be honest, he's not better than Partey. He's not better than Coutinho. Havertz is not better than Smith Rowe. He's not better than any of these players. I think it'd be healthier for him and even just his mental, even his confidence to earn his way into the team and come into the team on merit. Because I don't think he's in the team on merit. So with David Raya, I think he's going to have to earn it. He's not going to be like Leno. Ramsdale didn't even have to earn it with Leno because I think Leno was past his sell-by date. But with Ramsdale, he's not. Ramsdale's fresh. Ramsdale's here. Ramsdale's that number one spot isn't going with ease. He's not going to give that up.
No, I think the main thing with Havertz is quite clear. I think I agree with the end result of what you said. I don't agree with the methodology behind it, but I agree with that he should be taken out. And I think that there should definitely be different solutions for him. I still think that he's better on the right. I still think we need to change the way we move.
Right wing.
No, right centre midfield. I don't think he should be on the wing. I think he should be on the right, Odegaard on the left, or play Havertz behind Jesus directly, and they can interchange themselves. I don't think that he should be on the left. The angles aren't working for him. I don't think that he's working on the ball. I do think there's going to be a lot of conversations about the fact that he's not hitting his passes well. He's not connecting with the ball well. He's fluffing chances. It's that simple. So we have to try and figure out what to do with him. I still think he needs bench and he needs to hold the bench, but there's definitely something there. I don't think that he's going to be, like a Willian, for example. I don't think he's completely gone. I think there is definitely a player there, but at the moment it's just not working. So I agree with the assessment there that he can't be starting right now. Or if he is going to be starting, I think maybe Everton would be a good game for him because we could use his ability just to be a bit. He's a bit bigger than Trossard. He's a bit bigger than Smith Rowe. He's a bit bigger than Vieira. And against Everton, that is something that we could use.
Is he better than Smith Rowe?
No, he's just
not.
He's not better than Smith Rowe.
Why is he playing then? Well, why is he actually playing?
I agree with you. I don't think he should be playing. I think he's playing there because Arteta is thinking. This is my own opinion. I don't know what's happening. My own opinion is I think that he's trying to build the relationships on that left-hand side. He's trying to build the relationship between Zinchenko and Havertz and build the relationship between Rice and Havertz. And Havertz and Martinelli. I think he's trying to mold that left-hand side like we did the right-hand side when Odegaard came in. When we had the Odegaard and Saka connection and Odegaard not really providing that width that he now provides. I think that there's now a better understanding. I think he's trying to do the same on the left. And he just wants to do. And I think there's got to be a conversation where you really think, is Havertz good enough right now? Not even good enough, but is the communication and the ability to understand where you want everyone to be on the pitch good enough that Havertz should be on the pitch when Smith Rowe's played with these guys, Vieira's played a year with these guys. And I remember Fabio Viera a year ago, no one wanted him at the club. So we're looking at it now and
No one
thinking,
knew who he was. Yeah.
so this is the thing. I just think that there's definitely a relationship that needs to be built there. And Arteta's talked about it consistently, that he is going to have to build relationships. He's playing at left centre midfield. He's not played there for a while. So there's definitely things that but I agree that he needs to be taken out. That's the main thing.
People are going to hate what I'm about to say, but the guy's a confidence player, and his confidence has been shot by Chelsea. He's playing in a new position. He's playing with a new team. He's playing with better players, and it's going to take him a while to get that cohesion with them. But I think we need to give him a little bit more time. I'm not writing him off. I don't think anybody is, but I do agree with you guys. We should take him out of the firing line and maybe start Jorginho.
Wash that Chelsea out of it, bro. Wash that Chelsea DNA
in that team. But let me hear from Souls, because Souls has been really quiet on this topic. Souls, what are you saying about Kai Havertz, man? Do you think it's time to take him out of the firing line?
But for me, I want to see him with Jesus and Zinchenko. I've always said it. When them two come into the team, we'll see a better Havertz. And I do stand by that. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to take him out if they are both to start against Everton. And the thing is, I feel like Arteta wants to start playing the team according to the opponent. So against certain teams, like Fabio Viera will suit it better, and a Smith Rowe will suit that team better. Whereas with certain teams like Everton, for me, like Havertz and what he can provide us is probably going to be better suited than what Fabio Viera can do. And also, you've got to listen to the press conferences, and this is why I keep saying I do believe Declan Rice will continue to play as the 6 rather than the 8, is because what he wants to do is play the team the way he wants to play them and not just keep swapping and changing everything, as much as he wants. And the relationship's got to be built, like, Corinne mentioned as well. And for us, we haven't actually seen our strongest 11 with Havertz in there. We've seen, a makeshift team. We've seen like Partey come into right back. We've seen, someone else playing left back. Like I think we've had 3 different left backs or 4 different left backs in every single game. Timber's getting injured, then Tomiyasu coming in, Tomiyasu getting suspended. So I forgot who else came in. Gabriel came in, and then we had Zinchenko. So the relationship on that left-hand side hasn't even been able to mold itself yet. So that's one of the arguments I make. But look, if Havertz holds the bench and we start winning, at the end of the day, we've got to win games. I really don't care who plays.
Arsenal first.
Like even if Bukayo Saka has to hold the bench for us to win a game, I don't really care. Like at the end of the day, if we're winning, and right now we are, we're winning games. Okay, we drew 1, and I think as long as that continues, and as long, it's not convincing with him in the team, but as long as we can get the results, I think once he gets 1 goal, it'll open a floodgate for him. But I also do want to say one thing. I feel like we're getting into the phase of our team where players are going to need a season. Look at Fabio Viera. I remember me and you, Agal, we've been back and forth on this, and I said, give the guy time. Give the guy time, give him this season, and then let's reevaluate. And look at how he started. I'm not saying when he starts a game, Fabio Viera is going to be the same, but we've got to start giving. Look at Jack Grealish. Look at a lot of the Man City players. Look at some of Klopp's players as well. We're entering a phase in this team where the players are needing to come in. Declan Rice said it himself. He's had to relearn football to understand how to play this game. So we've got.
Look what he's producing. So look what he's producing.
No, that's the thing. But when we diss Chelsea so much, we diss their managers, we say all of this crap about them. We've got to understand you're now coming into footballing brilliance. You're not coming into another team. You're coming into a tactical team. It's very systematic. You've got to know your role. It's the same with Pep. Like if you go into a Pep system, you've got to know your role. You've got to know what the team needs to do. Look at all the diagrams. Look at all or nothing when he was testing the players. Where do you need to be if this happens? And Pepe was kept failing on that. So it's very important to have the intelligence, and I do think Havertz possesses that. And I just think time is needed. That's all.
Yeah, you know what? Some people are saying, look at Rice. Rice didn't need adjustment, but we know why we spent that money on Rice. He's a much better player. Guys, unfortunately, I'm going to have
Havertz. Okay. We see Havertz, yeah?
I know we spent
but some players just take time.
Quickly. I know you're going to wrap up as well. I would say with Havertz, I just want it to be a scenario where we don't have to rely on him. And if we're playing well without him, he can come in and fill in and have that year to bed in. But right now, with Arteta playing him every game, we have to rely on him doing the good stuff. So, as I said, he can get that year, but Arteta needs to manage him better so the fans aren't killing him. Because as I said, I need 10 games to see if I can see what Arteta sees. Not just for him to be exceptional and like the Premier League. I just need to see, if he just gets a bit more confident, if he just do this. And I've not seen it yet. 6 more games to go, man. I'm open.
No, but you know what it is? We're seeing all the wrong things from Havertz.
The main thing as well, because we talk about how, You know, we talk about how building relations, building a. What I want to know is, number one, he's like, what is his actual best position? Yeah, because we can say he can play here, we can say he can play in the full time, we can say he can play here. What's he at? What attributes does he actually excel at? Because I'm in a situation now where I look at it and like, all right, cool. If he's not that fast and he can't finish, at least keep the ball ticking. But like, even his passing's been off lately, yeah. So there's not only that, yeah. But then on top of that, I can't see where he actually fits. Like I said before, my opinion is we can talk about him coming good. We can talk about this and that. My opinion personally is it's forced because of the price tag. That's the only reason he's in the team for me. Like
Aerial Jules.
I just want to say one
thing. It's nonsense. He's a midfielder.
I'm gonna let Curran
answer that. Jules in my creative midfield.
I'm gonna let Curran answer that. But before we go any further, guys, we got 228 of you guys. We've been going for an hour and 26 minutes, and it's an utter embarrassment that we only have 70 likes. You guys should hit that like button right now just because of that. That is 100. You guys make fun of strikers for not hitting their chances. You guys have missed at least 120 minutes worth of chances to hit that like button. Anyways, go ahead, Curran. Answer Dylan's question right there.
His best position is quite clearly a second striker in a partnership, surely, isn't it? Are we not?
There's no space for that in our team.
That's exactly what we're doing. Exactly what I think the progression of our team is what he's going to do. I think his position right now is a high 8. He's meant to be a bit of a higher 8, but the question is what he's doing good enough for the squad right now? And it's not. It's quite clearly not. So that you asked what his position was. That is his position. Do we have the space for that right now? When we need someone that can cover the spaces in between the lines, especially without Xhaka. He's done good off the ball, but it's not good enough because we do need what he's going to meant to be doing in terms of the off the ball, the on the ball work. Sorry, in terms of providing the goals, getting the assists. No, he is a second striker. I don't know what the whole conversation is. That is his position. His best position has been a second striker in terms of just being a bit more deeper.
And he's not great creatively. So this is where he is genuinely the most confusing footballer I've ever watched in my entire life, because he's literally the only footballer I've ever looked at him and gone, right, cool, that is your position, but he's not particularly fast. He's definitely not a finisher. And creatively, he's not that great. So what actually? That might be his position.
Hey, just go and watch his Leverkusen goals. But
the thing is, I don't want to go and watch his Leverkusen goals. I want to watch what he does for us. I don't want to watch what he does for Leverkusen. I want to watch what he does for us. I'm with you,
bro. It's a joke.
And the thing is, I think people are misconstruing that. Oh, by saying that this is the situation, you're defending him. I want to be better at football. I want to be better at the game of football. It's that simple. The question is what is the thinking here, and what is the situation going to be going forward? And that is the situation going forward, because we're looking to add another man into our attack in terms of having 6 men in that final line instead of 5, making sure that you really understand where the position will be in the box. And the most frustrating thing about Havertz is he has been in positions where he should at least have 2 goals right now. The goal against United,
100%, 100. That's exactly.
So that's the most frustrating.
He doesn't help himself, man.
He doesn't help. This is the thing, right? He has been in the positions that he should have 2 goals right now, especially the one against United. I think everyone can agree on that. So the miss kick. So what is clear to me, and I don't want to hear this. But he got into good positions. He just needs the confidence. He's getting into the.
You're fed up too. I like this.
He needs to make sure that he does what he's meant to do, and at the moment he's not doing it, so he needs to be dropped, and that's where he needs to be. But the question is it needs to be a box threat. That's the main thing. Is he's meant to be a box threat, meant to be that second striker, be a bit more deeper, being able to find the space and run into it. That's his role. The question is he going to be good enough at doing it? And at the moment it's not. Hopefully he can get better.
Take him out of the firing line. Don't start him against Everton, but at the same time, give him an opportunity to get his confidence again at home. Maybe after the North London derby. I don't think he's going to start.
Carabao Cup coming up. He should have to earn his way into the team the same way everyone else does.
There's never been a player
where we've given them this. We've never given a player and this is another thing. Like, cool. Maybe in the past we've had to give players time. Like maybe we've had to. We don't need to accommodate for Havertz right now. Like the team we don't have to. Like we're not actually we don't need to be relying on him like in the way we are. Like, we can just bring in Jorginho, Smith Rowe, Viera. There's plenty of options, which is what I don't understand. We're not Arsenal Football Club is not in the dumps right now. We don't have to have him on the pitch, and we are, which is why. Like I said, I think it's purely ego. It's purely Arteta's ego. But people
that's what it looks.
I don't agree with that, but that's everyone has their own opinion.
But that's how
I don't
it
think
looks.
It's that.
And the reason why it's how it looks is because the reason why it's how it looks is because he did something similar with Willian when we could all see that he was stinking up the place every game, but Arteta kept playing him, bro. So I hope it's not that. But it's kind of looking very similar, bro.
No, but Willian was a different situation, though.
Stop.
But the thing is, are we talking about 2020 Arsenal, where, as Souls just said, it's nowhere near the same amount of quality that is around him right now. You look at Lacazette and Aubameyang. Then now we've got Jesus and Nketiah. It's a different set of fish.
Yeah,
we've got Marcelli and Saka. It's a different set of players.
With this better quality, we're still starting Havertz every game, and
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, but I don't think it's that Willian's a comparable situation. When you look at the players Willian had around him with comparison to players we have around him now. So if it is an ego thing, that's just wrong. Of course it is. If it's an ego thing, but we agree on that. I don't think it's an ego thing.
Adjustment thing to try to get.
I think it's not just that. I think it's to do with trying to make sure that he gets into the positions where he can find some confidence. I think that's the main thing. I think that it's obviously the relationships as well, trying to make sure that you understand where everyone else is meant to be on the pitch, where to overlap, where to unlap, where to attack the box, when to drop off, when to try and win the ball in the air, when to try and back off, win the second ball, etc. But right now, he's not doing it.
We see what we see.
Exactly.
We see
what we see, and this is the thing. I've said consistently that he shouldn't be playing.
Keeping him in there and hoping for him to hit something is not a good idea, because right now he's staring down the barrel. He's staring down the barrel at a 007. So they better get him out of this team. Like, the best thing would be to get him out.
Genuinely, if 007 means a lot to you, then fair enough.
No, it doesn't. That's going to be the nail in the coffin for his confidence. That's all I'm saying. That's when, like, I reckon he'll get away, because he's been dropping stinkers. He'll get away with another 2 stinkers, but once he hits that 007, the world is going to crash in on him. Like, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen.
I mean, we'll see, but I don't think that's the biggest deal. I think the biggest deal is.
I'm just being honest. I think.
No, I know. Of course you are. I'm not saying that you're saying being malicious, but I don't agree.
I don't think he's going to care that he doesn't get a goal or assist in 7 games. He seems like one of those people who's very. I know he
seems like one of those people that's care if he doesn't score in 7 games, bro. From his confidence, he does seem like one of those boys, bro.
Forget that. I bloody care. I'm trying to see him.
Look, I want to shamelessly come on here end of the season and say Kai Havertz, player of the season. He smashed it, bro. I would do it, bro. I'll do knee slides live on the stream.
I've got it ready, mate. It's ready.
My gosh.
It's ready.
But that's the thing. I think we all want him to do well. We all want him to do well, but I think for his own sake right now, he needs to be taken out the firing line. I agree with that completely.
100.
And you can build relationships on the training pitch. It doesn't have to be in Premier League games. But the question is with every game we have coming up, is it going to be a game where we can utilize what he brings? And I think that's what Mikel's bringing. And I think there's a balance between that and not playing him. I think if Havertz is if Mikel can see that Havertz is useful for this game, then he'll play him. If he's not, then he needs to be able to drop him. He needs to drop him. That's the question. Will he drop him when he needs to be dropped? That's the question.
We'll see. But my theory is ego.
Which is now.
We'll see.
We'll see. I think it's only been 4 games. It has only been 4 games.
It has only been 4 games.
Because right now we're in a situation, yeah. And I'm going to. I'm happy to look at it from both sides, but the other side of the situation, or like forget the fact that Havertz has been bad. The other side of the situation is, I think he was going to bring in Partey for Man United, but he was injured. Because of the system we went with, and we went back to the original back 4 games. I think he would have dropped Havertz for United. But I thought when he saw that Partey is injured, he thought, you know what, just leave him in there. I think he's been experimenting, and we saw with even because before Havertz, we saw Arteta experimenting with Partey right back end of last season. He's been experimenting these things, yeah. So I genuinely think Arteta knows what to do when it comes down to it. I don't think when it comes down to it, big pressure game, he's going to have Havertz in midfield and Partey in right back. I think he knows not to do that. I think that's what he's preparing for if we get into a situation where that has to be the case, which I don't understand because we've now actually got enough midfielders with Jorginho, Smith Rowe, Vieira, Rice, but we've got enough. It doesn't make sense to me. But I do actually think right now we're in a situation where Timber's also been injured. Nothing's clicked yet. Nothing's clicked at all. And credit to Arteta that we're still getting the wins because genuinely, I think his actual plan for this season, which we have not seen once, was probably to have Timber play right back, have Zinchenko left back, or maybe Timber rotate with Zinchenko, have still Saliba and Gabriel, and then have Partey, Odegaard, and Rice. But I still and just have Havertz in and around it. But I still don't, he's not been able to have that yet because of injury. I think we still got away on that.
And unfortunately, Curran, you jumped in a little bit late, but we already spoke about Gabriel Magalhaes' injury. He's okay. We spoke about Fabio Viera slightly. And I think we started off the topic just talking about the first 4 games and the overreaction that people are having. But I'm going to have to wrap up the video. We've been going for an hour and 36 minutes. Souls, you okay, bro? I can tell you exhausted, bro. You usually get a lot more energy than this. Today, you're out of it. What are you saying?
No, I'm tired, man. No, I'm all good. Yeah, man, I think people just need to chill, man. It's been 4 games. Let's see what happens. I trust in Arteta. I think he's developed enough players and enough player testimonials to understand he can bring the best out of people. Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling have spoken highly about him and, spoke about how he adjusted their game to make them better. So I just think give it time. And yeah, man, as long as we're winning, I couldn't care less, man. Like I said, we can play a whole under-9s team as long as we're winning. So it is what it is. Let's go win that league. We'll see at the end of the season when we're celebrating. We're not even going to talk about Havertz, so it is what it is. I'll see you at the celebrations.
Yeah, we'll see Niger making his trip again.
I'll have it on.
100.
Curran, big up to you. Guys, go check out Ball Over Passion. Links in the description. Of course, Kunle's channel, One Touch TV, also link in the description. Souls' channel also. And Dylan, welcome for the debut. Great debut from you. And I just want to know, do you have a YouTube video or anything you want to shout out before we go?
Yeah, I have a YouTube. I've started doing a few bits. I think it's Dylan White AFC. I think it's Dylan White AFC. I actually don't remember the username.
Send me the link and I'll put it in the description. Send me the link.
I actually don't know the name. I think it's Dylan White AFC.
Don't worry. Send me the link. I'll put the description. I'll put it in the description by the end of the video. Guys, make sure you check out everyone's videos. Links are in the description. I'm sorry, I've got to wrap it up. But yo, Curran, you have a good one, bro. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream.
It's good. I came from my stream to yours, so that's why I was late.
Bro, we gotta talk. Your stream, the title was Tottenham could win the league.
I know. Ask Chris. Chris did it, and Chris was like, "We'll get some clicks. It'll work." So yeah. No, of course not. Everyone had Tottenham 6th, so don't worry. That's not a thing. It's been fun. It's nice to meet Dylan. I haven't seen you before. Kunle and Soz, big up my guys. Good to see you, Gal. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got some international break stuff going on. I need to talk to a gal afterwards. We've got a video with him to do next week, I think. Good to see everyone. Look, it is what it is. We've won 3 games and drawn 1. So it's not like we're back in 2021 with zero points after. It's not 0 points after 3 games. All right, let's just everyone take a relaxed approach to this. So yeah, it's good, and it's good to see everyone. I hope everyone has a good rest of his international break because it's going very, very, very long. I saw it. If everyone saw Igal's TikTok, it made me laugh. But
I became a bottle war commentator. But yeah, before we go, Kunle, take us out. What are you saying?
Arsenal, relax. We got this. We're going for the title this season. All you rival fans that keep our name on your mouth, keep it on your mouth. It is what it is. We're going to keep doing our thing. 1 game at a time. We've only dropped 2 points and you guys have got the alarm bells. But in the second breath, you'll say we're the biggest challengers to City. What more do you want from us, man? Enjoy the rest of your week.
Did you make that vid? Did you make the bottle vid?
No. I got the bottle vid on TikTok. And then I basically stitched it. And then I stitched the whole commentary and everything. And it was kind of funny. Anyways, you guys can go check that out. It's on my TikTok.
I'm watching that now.
Anyways, you guys have yourself a good night. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the stream, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't know, people.
Yeah, no.
My people.